Welcome to the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. Here, we believe leadership isn't just about titles. It's about how you show up in every aspect of life. Whether you're leading a business, building a legacy as an entrepreneur, guiding your family, or striving to lead yourself first, this podcast is for you. Join us as we dive into real conversations about growth, decision-making, and the courage it takes to lead with purpose. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and equipped to become the limitless leader you are meant to be. This is your Limitless Leadership Podcast. Let's lead without limits. Good afternoon. I have Jenny Widman with me today. She is a CEO partner, executive level, elite level, top performance coach, high level top speaker in the industry of motivation, sales, leadership, recruiting. I mean, you name it, anything across the board. She has been in the industry for around 10 years. And one of the things that I love about Jenny is she's not one of those people that will get on a call with you or get in front of you or your team or whatever it is, or stand on stage and deliver, but she delivers behind the scenes as well. She is somebody that I know it's cliche to say won't ask you to do something she's not doing, but to watch her do what she does it on a daily basis. And there's things that go into that when you see how she runs her business, how she holds herself accountable, other people accountable, how she drives team members, people around her, teams that she works with, standing on stage. It's all these different facets of her life, plus being a mom on top of it and keeping a whole family together and people together. It's really impressive. And today we're going to take a little shift here with her and not necessarily talk about, some of it'll be business related, but there was a time back in May that I got was it back in May? Back in May that I got this random text message. We're both sitting in our offices, just doing our deal. And it says, "Can I join this fitness program?" And I froze, because there's two ways a husband can answer that question. There is, how much is it? And there is, yes. And that's where my mind went. And I looked at the past of her track record, the last couple of years, where she was at in her life. And my first reaction was, how much is it? I didn't say that, but inevitably that was my first reaction. And I'm glad I didn't say that out loud, because overwhelmingly the thought was, will she do it? Will she commit? And what she has shown to not only herself, but to me, to the kids, to people around her, the inspiration that she has done over the last 7-8 months, whatever it's been, what is it, January, has been phenomenal. And that's what I am inspired or intrigued or excited to hear about today, the journey that helps many of you or will help many of you who listen to this, just what she has done over the course of those last 8 to 9 months, put it that way. So maybe just start there, if you will, before you ever decided to do that. So take me back. What got you to a place that you finally felt like you made the decision to do it, but where were you at before that? And how long were you in that spot? And just kind of give me the background of it, if you will.
Yeah. And thanks for saying those nice things. I'm a different woman today than I was in May or previous. So it feels good to reflect and to get back in that mindset of what I was like before and who I am today, who is a completely different woman. But it's funny that this is our topic for the podcast today, because I am struggling today. I am sore today. I was sick last week and took 5 days off of working out and everything because I couldn't function. And I don't remember being in this much pain ever when it comes to my whole journey. So, I call it a journey because there's so many ups and downs along the way. There's so much mind my language, but mind fuckery during it. And I think that that is what has truly helped me, because when I hit that new low, which is a good thing because you're dropping weight, when you hit that new low, it feels like the best feeling ever because of all the emotions that come during this process. But to go back to your question, Brent, I kept making the excuse for myself that I just had a baby and I just had a baby and I just had a baby. Like, give myself some grace. I just had a baby. And they say that women don't actually get to your mindset that you were before pregnancy until the child is 2 years old. So I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, my life is just, I'm just trying to take care of everything. I'm trying to take care of this baby who's wants mommy all the time, trying to take care of my bonus children that we're going through stuff with, my business that we're business owners, my marriage, all of it. And I just put myself on the back burner. I said that there wasn't enough time. I was so tired. I don't want to get up. If I don't do it in the morning, it's never going to happen. I was just making all these excuses. And what had happened was I was actually, every time we go on vacation, I have to get new outfits. And it's just something I really enjoy doing, just a new outfit for that vacation. We were going to Portugal and I was trying on outfits because I saw the weather was going to be really cold when we were in Portugal. And I was like, oh, I'll wear my Spanx pants. They'll be great. And I put my Spanx pants on and they were larges and they were so tight. Like, I could not wear them. So I went to this boutique that I knew had the pants and I went to go get an extra large in these pants. And I was talking to the sales rep and she was like, what brings you in today? I was like, oh, I love these pants. I just want to get another size. And she's like, oh, why? Like, and I was like, oh yeah, I just had a kid. I just had a baby. I just, they don't fit as well as they used to. And I remember being in the room and I was like, I literally just lied. Like, I told her I just had a baby and the baby was 9 months old. Like, I literally said that. And I was like, I am not a liar. I do not lie. I'm a really bad liar, actually. And I was just like, sat down, like, oh my gosh, I need to do something. And that was my realization.
Mhm.
And I just kept looking into it. I was following stuff on Instagram, and some people just didn't speak to me. I even remember reaching out to this one guy and seeing what he had to offer and how much. He got back to me and I was like, this didn't feel good. And it wasn't until I found Pamela and I got on my very first call with her and I just felt cared for. I
Mhm.
just felt listened to. I just felt like in that moment, she believed in me way more than I believed I could lose 50 pounds for myself. And that was my journey of actually being like, I'm ready. I need to do something.
What were you touched on the emotions that led into that? What were some of the any other, because I didn't know that story about the Spanx and what have you. What were, if there's any other stories or anything you can pinpoint over the course of just having a baby 3 years ago over time, that maybe other stories like that or something else that got you down or even hit you hard, or you weren't the person you once were? Was there anything else over that time that you just kind of pushed away or didn't really live into or let get into you?
One thing I will say is I don't think I was actually ready to take action before that. I knew I needed to. And I tried things. We tried P90X and then I would get sick and I would do it for 15 days and then I'd stop. And then I'd sign up for half marathons, which I still do. And I would complete them, but I would just say they weren't my best time, or I had to walk,
Mm.
or things I never used to do. And it felt like little things, but it didn't resonate. Like it didn't correlate with me that I was sick every month for like 2 to 3 days. But that didn't correlate to me being unhealthy with my weight. Like I just thought this was my new way of living. I just thought, oh, I'm just sick all the time. Like it just didn't register. And I know that sounds crazy. And it
Mm.
probably being my husband, you're like, I obviously knew. But in the moment, I just felt like, oh, I'm just supposed to be tired because I'm a mom. Like I'm just supposed to feel like I have it all together, but deep down inside, I'm unhappy and I didn't know why. And, I remember seeing pictures. There's this one picture that you took of me when we were at a little carnival and I was in a little train with HUD. And I remember looking at that picture like, who the heck is that? Because it didn't even look like me. Like, I was just like, oh, that was a bad angle then. Like, that's just a bad angle because I'm not that fat. Like, I'm not that big. I'm not that unhealthy. And I had this warped, maybe perception or picture of me in my mind that who I was inside didn't look like the mirror, that didn't look like that picture, but none of it made sense or added up when you look at it. So, I just, yeah, I was tired all the time. I was sick all the time. I was panting, chasing after HUD down the street, thinking like, oh, that's weird, but not really registering it's my weight. So there was lots of little like things, but I just wasn't ready to deal with the reality of my situation in that moment.
I and maybe you do understand this, but the power of what you just said, that you didn't recognize that when you were in it,
Mm-mm.
the majority of the population lives in that world.
Mhm.
And hopefully, when people listen to this, they reach out to you or it resonates with them to hopefully say thank you, that they can see the little instances. Because, like you said, it wasn't the big things, it was the picture, it was running down the street with HUD, it was being out of breath, it was getting sick, it was all these, and their story might be different than yours, or it might be a little different how they feel or whatever. But at the base of it, it sounds like it's the same for so many people. Wow. The way you just answered that question, and I don't want to say that's exactly what I was looking for, but I didn't realize it was that big, that it was almost like an everyday, every week, every month type thing that you were going through in that emotional roller coaster. Is there anything else besides the Spanx when you decided to reach out to Pamela? And we can talk about her in a bit too, because I do want to hear that story. But is there anything else that ultimately made you go, all right, I don't know what's going to happen, but I have to change something?
I mean, I guess I can say two things. The first thing I want to bring up my text to you about the money because I'm not one that needs permission to spend money. I mean, you've never made me feel that way either. I can go and spend X number of dollars and you'd be like, okay. The reason why I felt like I needed to ask permission is because I was doubting myself. I could
Mm.
do it. And I wanted the belief in my husband that I know you can do this. And I feel like I've let you down so many times by starting and stopping things that your new idea of me was she's not going to do it. She'll fail. She'll start and stop. And I knew you got to that point. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you for feeling that way. But me just voicing it and getting that permission from you was that affirmation I needed for myself, like, invest the $6,000, put your money into it. You won't fail. And you have people in your house that will make damn sure you won't. So it was more of the confidence anchor of you just saying
Mm.
yes without hesitation than it was needing permission to spend money. I mean, we spent a lot more than that during this entire process, but it's the best money we've ever spent, and in my opinion. So that was much needed. When you personally have people in your corner that believe in you, that know you can do it, that support you, it is so much easier. I talk to women all the time that their husband isn't doing it, or their husband's eating cheeseburgers and pizza and not changing a thing, and beers and all this stuff. And that would not have helped me if it wasn't for Brent being so disciplined and so healthy along the way. It would be way harder for me to accomplish what I did. And I always say this, I did not do this alone. I could not have done this alone if it wasn't for my son asking me, how many steps are we at for today? Or my daughter going on walks with me, or my husband supporting my health journey, or Pamela and Jamie calling me out, and Kaya reaching in, hey, how you doing, girl? And my best friend Danielle just wanting progress pictures all the time. Like, it was everyone that helped me get where I am today. So that's huge. And I would challenge whoever's listening to this, like, who's in your corner? Who are people that support you and that you can bring in this journey with you? And I say it all the time, please even tell me or ask me, because I love cheering people on. Even if I don't know you, I love it. I love when people better themselves. And the number one thing you can do to better yourself is internally and your health, because you are with your mind, your body, your voice 24/7. And it is really easy to be your own critic a lot. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is, I would not have reached out to Pamela if I didn't see someone really close in my life who was at our wedding change her life. And my friend Kaya posts her journey on social media, and I saw her progress. I saw her glowing. I saw her living her best life. I saw her looking so hot in all the outfits she was wearing. And I was like, what did she do? Like, I need that. And I reached out to her and I was just like, what did you do? And she was the one that introduced me to Pamela. And she just heard about Pamela through a random Instagram story that she didn't even know who she was. So the second part to that, your question, I would say, is like, if I didn't personally see it work for someone in my life, I don't know if I would have reached out to Pamela or found the person that fit for me.
I'm going to go back to something that you said and come back to that as well. When you talked about your son and your daughter and Danielle and Pamela and Brent and all these different people in your life, and this is for people out there, and I think I know the answer to this, but were you thinking before you did this, or even when you pulled the trigger to do this, well, I have all these people out there that are going to help me out? Or did it just happen over time?
Oh, yeah. It just happened over time. Okay. I'll give myself some credit in that regard, because when it's 7:00 at night and I'm sitting there and I just want cookie dough ice cream, or I just want 10
There it is.
sweethearts,
Yep.
it's not Brent that is going to, I could hide that. I could
Yep.
go in the bathroom and eat my sweet tarts, right? Like, so it's not wanting to let other people down, but ultimately I just had to make that choice that day. I did not look at it like, in 8 months, I'm going to lose 50 pounds.
Yep.
I didn't look at it. I had no idea where I would have been at come January 29th. All I told myself day by day is, I just have to hit my macros today. Not tomorrow, not yesterday. I just need to focus on the present. And I just knew little habits, if I let them in, were going to go uncontrollable. And numbers don't lie. People lie, but numbers don't lie. So I knew if my weight spiked or whatever the situation was, and it wasn't hormone related, it was what I was doing, putting in my body. But those people help, and I could not have done it without them.
And why I asked that question is because I think at times when we talk about, well, I had all these people in my corner, there might be people out there listening to this that they can only think of one or two people. Well, you weren't thinking about that before you started the journey. You just started the
Mhm.
journey, is what you did. And then these things started happening because of that.
Mhm.
And even what you just talked about, I could have cheated, or I could have went in the bathroom, or I could have.
Oh, I thought about it many times.
Yeah. You thought, which makes you a person. You're a person. This isn't, and that goes back to what I was going to say about Kaya is you saw her, but Kaya, correct me if I'm wrong here, is no different than you were or that Jane or John or Bob or Tim are. You just made a decision to start and do it.
Mhm.
And maybe that's what's hard for people at times is they think, and I don't want to generalize, but I feel like people think, oh, she's just different. She's gifted. She has discipline. She has consistency. And that's why I love this story because let's go 50 pounds ago, you didn't have the discipline around it. And you talked about me. I did get to a point where why even start P90X with her because she's only going to do it for a week or two anyway, and she's going to stop. Something's going to come up, and I'm going to be left by myself in the basement again because we'd started and stopped and started and stopped and started and stopped. And that's okay. You needed to figure out what worked for you, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
So tell me, once you made the decision, what's been the probably the hardest, maybe not the hardest part, but multiple hard things that you've had to go through, whether it's tracking, whether it's the weight, whether it's out of shape, whether it's maybe people judging, looking at you, feeling like that? Has there been anything that you've thought, man, it's too much, or you know what I'm saying here?
Yeah. Each phase of the journey is a different answer. The first stage, the first 30 days, it was lifting. It was changing my diet completely. It was my order at Starbucks even. Like Pamela had this first phone call for me and she said, "Jenny, what are the top 5 things that you absolutely love, that you need in your life?" And I said, "Buffalo chicken." I said, "Starbucks," and I gave her my Starbucks order. I said, "Pizza." I said, "Wine," and I said, "Margaritas and queso." And she said, "Jenny, I promise you can have every single one of those things." She
Wow.
put an entire plan for me together, and every week had those in my plan. And I looked at the plan and I was like, "Oh, so I can have my pizza tonight. I can have my margarita and tacos tomorrow. Like, this is amazing." And I looked at the rest of the day and it was really high protein, really lean stuff. And I said to myself, "Okay, I just need to ration what I'm doing then." Like, I just need to completely change my breakfast and my lunch up. And the first phase was understanding that, that I can still, I'm not deprived wine. I still have wine 2 times a week. Like, I'm not deprived pizza. I still eat pizza once a week. Like, you just have to modify the rest of the week. And it's okay. And I didn't realize how to do that. I didn't realize how to order at Starbucks. My Starbucks order had 800 calories. Now I'm down to 160. So it's like, okay, I can have Starbucks. Great. So it's just figuring out the sugar, all that. Like that first phase was hard for me because my workouts were strenuous. I was sore all the time. I thought lifting meant I was going to get bulky and huge and I didn't want to get like you. And like, I didn't realize it toned yourself up. I didn't, as many times as you told me that, I just didn't believe it. So that's the first phase, just understanding what you can, how you just have to prioritize your protein and eat differently, but you can still eat everything that you love. And that's
Mm.
why I don't even call this a diet. Like my mom's like, "Oh, how's your diet going?" And I'm like, "No, it's not a diet. Like a diet to me is restrictive. Like I can't eat something. This is a new way of life. I'm going to live like this forever now because I know how. It's portion control. I can go and have a lavish meal, but the day before I just have to save up some calories for it and it's great." So it's just moderation and balancing and stuff like that. So and then once you get in this program, I'd say the 31 to beyond, it's understanding that like one time a month, the scale is going to be 6 pounds heavier. And it's not
Mm.
fat, it's not anything. It is your hormones, it is water weight. And as much as I can say, "Yay, I hit my brand new low," and 3 days later be 6 pounds heavier, it's okay. It's okay because my body is beautiful and it's a human woman's body that can do so many things. And that's just one of them. And it's one time a month for 5 days that I know that it's going to spike and it's okay. So I wasn't like that, the first time it spiked. I wasn't like that the first 5 periods I had during this whole thing. But now I am having a better relationship with the spikes and I'm okay with it. So it's a work in progress. Once you know something, you can't unknow something. So
Mm.
when you know that that's what happens that time of month, you don't let it consume you like you used to. And you have to just go through the motions. But those lows feel amazing because you go through the highs.
I love what you just said. Once you know something, you can't unknow it. Because that was one of the questions I was going to ask. Because you talked about in the first 30 days, I had to do all these things. And again, I go back to what holds a lot of people back at times is you're now 9 months in. So they're back here going, well, how did she do it? What did she do? What did she? But you didn't know that when you started. You
Mm,
didn't know it those first, you just took it day by day by day by day. And what I saw of you is you weighed things, you tracked it on your phone. So you tracked it on your app. You knew what you were eating and what you were doing. You didn't know, like even the coffee thing, you went from ordering it at Starbucks to doing it at home to almost perfecting what you were doing at home. And it took you a little bit to do that. It didn't happen overnight. Yeah. But it was a process of what you did. And now you can't unknow it because you know it. And I'm hoping that when listeners listen to this, that they don't have to be 9 months in the first day. They just have to be the first day in the first day, and then the second day and the third, and start to figure it out that way. That was the way you said that. And I got to touch on this. You just got to the inner mind of my wife. Pizza, margs, wine, buffalo chicken, and coffee.
my love languages.
Christmas every day, right? It just is.
Yeah.
But it shows that, because like you said, a diet is a diets are diets. They're the fad, the starve yourself that you can't. And have you ever once, and I get that we all get hungry, what have you, but have you ever in this whole thing, have you been starving,
No,
so hungry that you had to have something?
never.
So it's not a diet.
Mm,
It's a way of life.
mhm.
So if you look at it now, like you said, going forward, it'll never change. Do you ever get off track? Do things ever come up that traveling, girls' nights, bachelorette parties? What do you do during those times when you're not at your house, in your comfort zone, with your family, going for your 10,000 steps, doing the deal? How do you do that?
Mhm. It's funny, Pamela says I'm the most traveled client that she works with. And I mean, there's, our travel schedule. I mean, in the
Mhm.
past 8 months, I've been gone probably 1 week to 10 days a month, like just here, there, and everywhere, whether it's a family thing or me by myself or me and you thing. We went to Banff. I have Cancun coming up, Tulum. Life happens, right? Like, I guess the best way I can say it is I just make smarter choices because I
Mm,
know how much protein makes you feel and makes you fuller than anything else. So that's why you're starving when you go and eat chips and you're like 45 minutes later, you're starving, even though you just had 400 calories worth of chips, because there's absolutely no protein there. But if you were to go and have a chicken breast and eat the chicken breast, you won't be hungry for 3-4 hours. So I remember some of the very first times Pamela makes fun of me because I had my purse, and in my purse I had my scale. I had my snacks, my like protein snack, protein bars, all this stuff. I had my scale that I weigh myself, and I had my scale that I put my protein on. And
understatement.
I just had this massive bag. I was just carrying it through the airport, and I just did not give a fuck because I was like, I am hitting my goal and this is happening. And I was at this airport. My flight was delayed. The last thing I wanted was a protein bar. I just wanted a freaking meal in front of me. And the old me would have got the whole sandwich and french fries and all the things. Well, I got the grilled chicken sandwich. I got my buffalo sauce and I got a side salad with it. And I ate half the bun and I was so full. I got double meat actually. I got two pieces of chicken. And I was so full after it. And it was amazing because I had my buffalo sauce and it was great. Like I didn't need the french fries and everything else I used to get. So I just made smarter choices while doing so. But girls' nights, I have a monthly girls' night with my girls. I know I'm gonna have 2 to 4 glasses of wine. Like I know that that's going to happen, and I love it. It's a night that I really enjoy. But what you do during the week is you save up 100 to 150 calories every day. So right now I'm at 1750 that I'm allowed it for in a day. And so I'll average about 1600 for the
Mm,
4 days leading up to it. And then I have an extra 600 calories for the whole weekend. And so not only do I have my 1750 for that day, but I have 600 more on top of that. I don't know about you, but if you start actually counting your calories and you're eating pretty decent throughout the day, it's hard to even eat 2000 calories. It is hard.
yeah.
Like you have to work for it. And so I'm just more intentional. If it wasn't for my app, and I mean, I still weigh stuff. I have a good understanding of like what 4 ounces of chicken is now and what 6 ounces of chicken is because I eat chicken all the time. I have my overnight oats that I have every Monday through Friday. And I know that I'm getting 46 grams of protein in my breakfast before noon every single weekday. I know on the weekends I can indulge in my egg omelets and pancakes and stuff because I know how to work it in my schedule, but this was all not over the night. Like
Thank you for saying
it
that.
was it was literally a work in progress. I need to tell my coffee story because this is a good one. I would go to coffee. I'd go to Starbucks 4 mornings, 4 out of 7 days a week. I didn't even know I was spending this much. I was probably spending $40 a week on coffee and I had no idea. I was just like, oh, it's on my app, whatever. And I had no idea that I had 800 calories worth of stuff sometimes, like the drink and the sandwich and, all the things. And I told Pamela in my order, and she's like, okay, I'm going to add it into one of your days, but you might rethink what you want to do with that coffee. And I like saw the day and it literally said like coffee and then chicken breast and then chicken breast. And I was like, oh, that looks miserable. Like, I don't want that. She's like, or you could do this. And here's a coffee for 100 calories. And it was all this food. And I was like, yes. And so then I had a coffee maker and I was trying all the things that she did. I was like, ugh, that's gross. Ugh, that's gross. And the next day I'd go to Starbucks. I'd be like, oh, that's gross. That's gross. I was trying to like make it at home. Trial and error. 1 month later, my coffee that I make at home is 10 times better than any Starbucks order. I use protein powder as my mixer. I have a 0-calorie like sweetener thing. I know that's not the best for you, but whatever. Almond milk, and I actually enjoy my coffee now. But it took a month. I kept texting Pamela and like, this sucks. I'm never going to not have Starbucks. And she's like, okay, let's try this. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's try this. She was determined to help me find coffee that I actually was wanting to have in the morning. So it took a while, but we got there.
Well, you did it, and you can't unknow it now.
Mm-hmm.
And how cool is that you kept trying and kept trying and kept trying, even went back to your old ways a little bit, which is natural. That's normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy you're telling the story, because it's for people out there that think this is so hard and that's not me and I can't do it. You're literally breaking it down to the basics of something that when they listen to this, they can get off this and go, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You touched on something. If you eat right, it's really hard to eat 2,000 calories.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you about cost, because at times there's a little pushback that eating healthy costs more than eating unhealthy. Do you believe that to be true?
What is wrong with America today? Like, it drives me batty. My husband and I were at Malone's, a restaurant down the road. They have my favorite buffalo chicken wrap on the menu, and it's fried. And I asked to get it grilled instead of fried for both of our orders, and they charged us an extra $8 just because I wanted it grilled and not fried. That is really frustrating. It is so frustrating, because how much more is it just to get it grilled than fried? But going back to your point here, like, it is more expensive to eat healthy than it is to not eat healthy in some regard. It can be. With that being said, what I would question is my Starbucks. I was spending $40 a week without even knowing it. And how much we used to eat out to how much we eat out now, we were
Right
probably eating out 3 times a week because I was too tired to cook. I
there.
didn't
Yep.
feel like cooking after work. Let's get Chipotle. Let's get whatever. And so, yeah, it might be more expensive to get the organic chicken breast, the 93.7 meat, the grass-fed this, the pasture-raised eggs. I spend my money getting the more expensive stuff. But I also know that I'm saving money that I know that I would have been spending over here.
Yep.
And what I also know is I'm high on life now. Like, why wouldn't I want to be spending more money on this ingredient, nutrient based foods that are so healthy for me, fueling my body, fueling my family's body to be able to go on walks and go outside and do all these things, than this fried, greasy XYZ over here? And so I think it's how you look at it. And as much as eating healthy does frustrate me at times when you're at restaurants and you try to do the good thing, it's also like I'd rather spend the extra $4 on grilled than fried.
And not to knock the restaurants or anything like that, but when you look at what you paid for that meal at Malone's that night, ballpark, what do you think you paid just for your meal? With
It was like $14 and it ended up being 18.
Okay, so $18 for one meal just for you.
Mm-hmm.
How much is a packet of chicken breast that we eat as a family at home on a Monday night?
The one right now that I'm defrosting is $17.
As a family.
Mm-hmm.
That's as a family as opposed to one person. That's where I
3
think we
pounds of
get.
chicken meat, yeah.
I'm glad you answered it that way. I wasn't digging for anything. I wanted to see your thoughts, because I think our perception at times is it's more expensive to eat healthy, because we look at the packet and it costs $18. we don't look that feeds the whole family, as opposed to a dinner at Malone's that it's me, you, and let's say HUD, and now we're paying $55 just for the meal and the $15 tip on top of it. So now you're walking out of there at 70, $80, whatever it is, for a family, as opposed to $18, maybe
Mhm.
$22 if you add everything else in.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't ever go out, but it has changed our perception of going out and eating. And it's something that I look at it this way: you have managed your schedule to such that it doesn't seem overwhelming. I might be off on this, but most of the time you don't seem overwhelmed if you're cooking. You don't seem that way. It just seems like a thing because you've given yourself the time and space and energy, and you actually kind of look forward to it now, it looks like, because you know you're eating healthy and you're not going to feel like crap. Plus, the whole family gets to eat healthier too at the same time. So,
Mhm.
and that didn't happen overnight.
Mm-mm.
And that's where I want people to know that as well, that your story is phenomenal because you didn't just change everything in an instant. You trial and errored, and it's impacted and factored into every portion of your life because that's who you are or were, and now that's who you are again.
Mhm.
You go back to when you asked me about that text message, or asked that text message. My real thought was, I want my wife back. That was my thought. I don't care what it costs. I want my wife back. I want the person I married, the driven, gorgeous, happy, smiling person that runs marathons and drops things at an instant to travel and live life. And she's back. And it's pretty cool to see that.
Mhm.
So, yeah. Couple questions before we end up here. Who is Pamela?
Pamela is House of Health. House of Pamela is her Instagram handle. And she is my mentor. She's my coach. And when you hire Pamela, you also get Jamie. And Jamie is actually her coach, Pamela's coach, Jamie Pearson. Jamie is the one that helps you with your progressive overload, helps you lift. You have to send videos and make sure that the form is good. And she's the one looking at your progress pictures and seeing what area you need to tighten up more and change your workouts because of it. She's looking at all of your stuff. Like, she is the person that is behind the scenes of making sure that you're staying on track with your goals. Pamela is the cheerleader, the person you can literally call or text anytime because you need to be talked off the ledge, or because you're at a restaurant, don't know what to order, or have a question, or I'm sore, what do I do? Or ask her about supplements and all the things. Like, it's literally like a 2-for-1, and I get both sides of things. Jamie, she calls you out. She's literally told me that I'm words because I could have done harder, you know? She calls me out and I don't want to let her down. And Pamela's rah rah, you got this, girl. Let's keep it going. So I feel like both of them are the perfect package, at least for me. They spoke to me. Pamela truly listened to me. I didn't even know about Jamie when I signed up with Pamela, but House of Health is a program, and she has different levels. She has levels that are 30-day programs, 30-day slays, and then she has more of the group or one-on-one. So depending on your budget, you can do any level.
Love it. I've just watched it change your world, so I wanted to make sure she got her due in there as well, because I know how important she is to you. Here's another question for you. Friendships. How have friendships changed in your world since you started this?
You know, I I don't know. Okay. One thing that has absolutely been amazing with this, my best friend Danielle, our conversations have elevated to the aspect of she cares about it now. She actually texted me last night saying, I want wine. And I said, I said something to the extent of like, you go girl, if you want it, you have that glass. She goes, oh damn, I thought you were going to be the healthy Jenny and say wait until the weekend, but you're encouraging me. And it was really funny in that moment. I'm the healthy friend. Like, how cool is that? But we went on this trip together to Georgia, and I had to make sure I got my 10,000 steps. And we were at a winery, and she was like, all right, let's go get our steps. Let's bring our glasses of wine. So we went walking through the vineyard, and we were literally like picking the grapes with the workers because I had to go get my steps. And she loved it. And now she gets her 10,000 steps every single day. She got a watch, and it's changed her life with just the step mentality and putting protein in her life and things like that. And then one of my closest friends now, her name's Shayla, they moved across the street from us, and she's so healthy. And when I saw her, I was so intimidated by her. And, we became besties, and we run together. We go walks together. We talk about workouts. We go work out together, and we still have our hot tub nights and wine nights and all the things too. And I think when you are living your best life, you attract people like you. And my caliber of my friends have just literally escalated, and it's awesome. It
Love
changes
that.
your world.
Yeah. Just the caliber of your friends, like you said, and watching that dynamic too, that like I told you one time, I think it was the first time you went to CrossFit. If somebody would have asked if my wife went to CrossFit a year ago, I'd have been like, yeah, because you would have came up with something, or it wouldn't have been for you, or something wouldn't have been, or you probably wouldn't have been asked, But now she said something about you being the fit neighbor, I think it was something across the street. So it's even the affirmation that I see in you, that when people say things about you, it gives you the motivation to keep going. You can just see it. That's what starts to happen, because now it's part of you. And people expect that out of you, like a Danielle or a Shayla or whoever. They expect you to be that person in their life. And you're not a person to let somebody down. You're just not. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I just posted my video of losing 50 pounds, and my neighbor goes, oh my God. She's our new neighbor. I didn't know her too much when I first started this journey, because she just moved in 2 months ago. And she goes, I had no idea. I just thought you were so fit, and you've always been so fit. I had no idea you were on a 50-pound weight loss journey. And she was shocked. And so like even those little affirmations go such
That's
a long
good.
way.
Yeah. If people want to get a hold of you, are you on LinkedIn or your phone number, or what's the best way? Because obviously you do coaching and you help people in that world, and you accountability and just things they need help with. What's the best way to get a hold of you to make that happen?
Go to yourlimitlesscoach.com and reach out to Brent and I. And my Instagram, Jenny Marie Widman, or you can email us, jwidman at Your Limitless Coach, bwidman at Your Limitless Coach. But, of course, we're talking about my health journey, but my husband is the true God when it comes to fitness and health. So I have a high bar that I need to stay at. But yeah, either of us. That can be our next podcast, honey. Me going to your discipline of 393 days of working out.
Thanks for tooting the horn there a little bit. I love it. Thank you. Because this one's going to impact people, and you may not see it because you're in it, but the amount of people that have seen and commented on what you've done and who you are and the way you've done it, that you've taken it step by step, it is thoroughly impressive. And I don't know how else to say that, but you have a story to tell. And I'm so happy that you got to tell it today, for sure. So thank you so much. I truly appreciate it. I really do.
Love you, honey. Have a good day.
Thanks for joining us on the Your Limitless Leadership Podcast with Jenny and Brent Widman. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about leadership, not just in your career, but in every part of your life. Remember, Leadership starts with leading yourself first. It's about taking action, making bold decisions, and showing up with purpose. Now, it's time to take what you've heard today and put it into practice. Whether it's in your business, your community, your family, or your own personal growth, start leading without limits. You have the power to become the leader you're meant to be. Until next time, keep pushing your boundaries and leading with purpose.